What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be a build guide on a new hunter spec, one that is quickly becoming my favorite build to play. It's highly dynamic, a real thinking man's build, and delivers some disgustingly high critical strikes. I will break this video down into smaller sections going over the random enchants with stat priorities, the talent tree, and of course a section explaining how the build operates. Remember that it only takes a second, but subscribing below and leaving a like will help get this video out to as many people as possible. Let's dive in. To start off, let's go over the easiest and quickest part of the build, the random enchants and the stat priorities. Like any good build, it starts with the legendary RE, and Locust Shot will be the legendary of choice for this build. Naturally, we ignore the shitty part of the RE and ignore spell power altogether. This is a nature hunter spec after all, not a boomkin. The thing we are focusing on with this RE is the extra wild quiver procs and the reduction in cooldown to Chimera Shot from scoring those juicy critical strikes from Locust Shot. The three epic REs I use with this build are Naturally Strong, Wild Wrath, and Munitions Expert. Wild Wrath is used to just maintain 2 debuffs on the target, and Munitions Expert for the immense amount of extra haste it provides. Naturally Strong might seem like a little bit of an odd pick considering there is an RE specifically for Chimera Shot in Expunge, but trust me, Naturally Strong is way better than Expunge. The rest of the REs used in this build are 3 improved Stings, 3 Earthen Sting, 3 Stinging Swarm, 3 improved Insect Swarm, and 1 Mortal Shots. If you don't have the hit rating to reach the 8% hit cap, you can switch out the Mortal Shots RE over to Precision to help you reach that crucial hit cap. The stat priorities for this build are as follows: Agility, Attack Power, Intellect, Hit Rating until 8%, then Crit Rating. Really simple and quick, so let's move on to the next part of the video. On to the talent tree and the spells we take for this build. Let's start left to right so we go over everything in order. Starting over in Druid, we take the Wrath spell. We also pick up Insect Swarm, 3 points into improved Insect Swarm, and 3 points into Earth and Moon. Moving on to Hunter, the spells we take here are Aspect of the Hawk and Tame Beasts. The talent points we take here are 2 points into Focused Fire and 5 points into Serpent Swiftness. Over in Marksmanship, the skills we take are Serpent Sting, Auto Shot, Rapid Fire, Steady Shot, and Volley. The talents we take here are 3 points into Careful Aim, 3 points into Mortal Shots, 3 points into Improved Stings, 2 points into Efficiency, 3 points into Range Weapon Specialization, 3 points into Combat Experience, 3 points into Master Marksman, 3 points into Wild Quiver, 5 points into Marked for Death, and of course, Chimera Shot. Over in the survival tree, we take Feign Death, Misdirection. The talents we take here are 3 points into Expose Weakness, 3 points into Thrill of the Hunt, 3 points into Master Tactician, 3 points into Noxious Stings, 1 point into Black Arrow, and 3 points into Sniper Training. The rest of our ability essence is spent on utility. So over here in Mage, we take Blink, and we take Arcane Power as one of our major cooldowns for this build. Over in Shadow Priest, we take Fade just for an initial pull aggro dump. It helps a lot during raids. Over in Rogue, we take Poisons. Over in the Shaman tree, we take Earth Shock and Rock Biter Weapon. The last 2 points we take are Life Tap over here in Warlock, and the last one we take is Berserker Stance over here in Warrior. Some people may have noticed I actually didn't take Moonkin form. There's a popular nature hunter build out there using Moonkin form and some of the talents that increase your nature damage while in Moonkin form. I'll tell you right now, using the points on that and Moonkin form over Berserker Stance is a substantial DPS loss. I promise you, doing it this way is a little bit better than using the Moonkin form. The next most important part of the video is explaining how this build works because it involves quite a bit of setup to get this to function to its full potential. This is going to be the unscripted part of the video, so forgive me because this is going to be a lot to go over. All right, we're over here at the Ogrimmar testing dummy. I'm going to explain the rotation first so you guys kind of hear what it's like, and then I'll show you in real time. Basically, the entire point of this build is to snapshot as many buffs and debuffs that increase Serpent Sting's damage as much as we possibly can. The reason being is because the secondary hit of Chimera Shot is based off your Serpent Sting damage, so you want to make sure it does as much damage as possible. Now, I'm going to explain the rotation so you guys understand how I go about it, how I start the fight, then I'll show you in real time, okay? So I'm going to use 3 steady shots to get 3 stacks of Naturally Strong. Then I will look to either use Black Arrow or Insect Swarm. I use these because they last like 10 to 15 seconds each. I will then go back to my 4th steady shot. Then I will look to either cast Wrath or Insect Swarm, or Black Arrow, whichever one I didn't cast. The reason being is because when you cast Wrath and hit the target, you will get a debuff on them called Earth and Moon, which increases their spell damage taken by 10%, which increases the Serpent Sting damage as well. It's a little silly, but at that point, you'll have 4 stacks of Naturally Strong. You'll go to cast your 5th Steady Shot, and then you will look to either do Insect Swarm or Black Arrow, whatever which ones you haven't casted at this point. You will then cast Earth Shock, Hunger for Blood, all of your cooldowns, then Serpent Sting. It's quite a lot, and you have to make sure you try to get all of these on because your damage decreases dramatically if you don't. So let me show you what it looks like in real time. Now, I'm not going to have a bleed on the target, but just imagine I do have it because I actually have it macroed in with my cooldown buttons so I don't have to press it myself. So let me show you what it looks like. 1 Steady Shot, 2 Steady Shot, 3 Steady Shot, Black Arrow, 4th Steady Shot. I have an instant Wrath, so I'll cast that, get Earth and Moon. 5th one, Insect Swarm. I'll cast another one just to make sure I keep the buff. Earth Shock, cooldowns, then use Serpent Sting. Now at this point, all you're trying to do is basically make sure you maintain Insect Swarm and Earth and Moon on the targets at all time. The reason being because Insect Swarm is a dynamic increase to Chimera Shot, and I didn't know this beforehand, but basically if you let this fall off, it will affect the secondary portion of Chimera Shot, even though it doesn't technically tell you it does, but it's weird. It's like a dynamic increase. It does snapshot the Serpent Sting, however. So I didn't get the Earth and Moon up. There we go. And this is where the Naturally Strong kind of falls off because you actually don't maintain the damage. The reason being is because even though this increases your nature damage by 2% per stack, this doesn't seem to affect the secondary shot of Serpent Sting, or Chimera Shot, excuse me. It's very, very strange. Certain things affect it, and certain things don't. I don't understand the logic behind it, but that's how it works. It's a little complicated. It's quite a lot of setup. This is definitely a single target build. It falls off dramatically when you have to switch a lot of targets. So if you're in a raid that has like ad fights, you're probably not going to do as well as say like a physical multi-shot hunter or anything, or like an explosive shot hunter, because switching targets, you basically have to redo this entire setup and you only have cooldowns every 5 minutes. So not that conducive with high target switching fights, but if you can stay on the target, this build is extremely fun and extremely satisfying to play. I'm going to leave you guys with a 5-minute Patchwerk style test. I know that might have been a little bit much to handle just watching it, but I promise you the more time you spend smashing your face into one of these dummies, the easier rotation will become. I'll leave you guys again with that 5-minute Patchwerk test of the build in action. I hope you all like this build as much as I do. Remember to subscribe below for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.